happy, beautiful day. It's Pete Cohen and welcome to the Pete Cohen podcast. This is episode 1 of a series of 4 podcasts called The Attitude of Gratitude. You are about to find out why cultivating gratitude in your life could be one of the most important decisions you ever make in your life. I encourage you to really dive in to the material that I'm going to be sharing with you because you know what? It's the simple things in life which make the biggest difference, and learning how to be more grateful for who you are and what you have is, like I say, one of the biggest things you will ever do in your entire life. You don't have to believe me. Just listen in and let's do this. I'll see you after the theme tune. The big question today is, how are some people living extraordinary lives with an abundance of health, wealth, and happiness? What exactly are these people doing? The award-winning My365 podcast will give you the answers as you go from living a life by chance to an extraordinary life by design. HBD, my friends. If you don't know what that means, it's Happy Beautiful Day. Welcome to episode 1 of a series of 4 podcasts on the attitude of gratitude. When I told my wife this morning I was recording episode 1, she said, "Why don't you call him the attitude of gratitude?" And I thought, thank you so much, because that's what I thought about, but I'd probably forgotten of what I actually wanted to call these podcasts. And by the way, my wife does not sound like that. That was me attempting to use a little bit of humor. But look, before we get stuck in, I want to tell you that today's show is brought to you by a superfood. That's right. There are many things that I do that give me the edge. There are many things in life that are advantages to me. And one of those things is the tea and coffee that I drink that is infused with one of the most powerful superfoods in the world. There's over 2,000 medical studies on it. It's called Ganoderma. It's also known as reishi. How I came about this, well, maybe I'll tell you about that another day, but put it this way. Since I've been drinking this, I've had one cold in nearly 8 years, and I've been collecting testimonials from people that put this into their body. Basically, this superfood is an incredible nitrate donor that allows our blood vessels to be dilated. When our blood vessels get dilated, that means we get more oxygen to our tissues. More oxygen to our tissues means more life. It also helps to minimize inflammation. Inflammation is associated with all of the major diseases that I'm sure none of us want. None of us want heart disease. None of us want cancer. None of us want diabetes, Alzheimer's, arthritis. This superfood Ganoderma is incredible for minimizing inflammation. Once again, you don't have to believe me. You can go and look at the research yourself. And when we talk about gratitude, this is one of the most gratitudinal, does that make sense? Gratitudinal things that I do every single day. I'm so grateful for being able to put this into my system, to allow my system to function so well, to allow me. And by the way, one of the other things it does, it also helps to cross the blood-brain barrier. What that means is we get oxygen to our brain. So when we have oxygen to our brain, many of us are able to think clearly. And it also helps to release a hormone called GABA, which relaxes the nervous system. So most people that drink too much coffee, they can get jitters, they can get crashes. Not with this. If you want to find out more about it, go to this website, Inspirators, that's INSPIRATORS, inspirators.me/coffee. Inspirators.me/coffee. And go and see some of the videos that we've put together, one with one of the most incredible nutritionists in the world, Dr. Rakowski. Go and check that out. Some other videos that you can see. And if you want to order any of the products, you can see there's a link that you can click on it. There's also a protein that we have that has Ganoderma in it as well. Go and check it out. You can order it. We'll send it to you. So enough about that. But before I do, I must have a quick sip of my coffee. Let's do this. Let's spend time together. I encourage you to really see me as your coach. And I don't know whether you've ever had a coach, but the role of a coach is to take someone from where they are to where they want to be. Where do you want to be? That's a good question. And I encourage you, all of you, because we get a lot of people listening to this podcast. What are you listening to this for? What is it that you would like to take away? Do you just want to be entertained, or do you want at the end to take something away that you could go and teach and help other people? Or do you want something that you can use for yourself? What exactly do you want to get out of coming in and listening to the Pete Cohen podcast? Because my goal has always been that when you listen, you feel that I'm actually talking to you. If I know you or I don't know you, it doesn't matter. Feeling that I'm talking to the heart and the soul of you. What I'd like you to consider as me as your trainer for the next 4 weeks, and we're going into training, just like Tyson Fury, who's fighting next week in the rematch against Deontay Wilder. He's in training. He's getting ready for the last week of his training. And I'm asking you let's go on a 4-week training session for you to become more grateful, for you to become strong with gratitude. Now, why would you want to do that? That's a good question, right? Why? Are you not grateful enough right now? I've spent my life looking at the human experience and what people want and how to help people get what they want. Ultimately, what most people want is a feeling. We love to feel positive emotion, right? And we're looking for ways to feel positive emotion. So whether the fact that, I drink this coffee and it gives me a feeling, that's one of the reasons I drink it. The fact that it's many health benefits as well is fantastic. I might watch something on the television because I want a feeling from watching. I might buy something because I want the feeling of having the thing that I've bought. Human beings avoid pain. If something is difficult, most of us will not do it. There's a few people in the world that if something is painful, they will do it. I was reading about gladiators and how gladiators, when they were being picked to go out and fight in the arena, they wanted to go. You can imagine today some people said, don't pick me because I might die. Some people want that experience of being challenged. Some people want the experience of going through something that is difficult so they can have the sense of achievement. The challenge is that when you do something which stretches you too much, is it can break you. And if you do something which doesn't stretch you enough, you get bored. So human beings need, and I'm always grateful for the opportunity of being able to stretch myself a little bit. And I want to stretch you a little bit when it comes to being grateful. Look, there's some amazing research, and if you want to go into this a little bit deeper, go and check out the work of Robert Emmons, who really has done some incredible work around how we can cultivate more gratitude, how keeping a journal, how many different things proven scientifically the impact that it can have. And there's groundbreaking research, check this out, that says when people regularly cultivate gratitude, they experience a multitude of psychological, physical, interpersonal, and even spiritual benefits. It's one of the strongest links to mental health and satisfaction with life. And as a personality trait, it's basically been shown to be more powerful than optimism, hope, compassion, joy, love, just to be thankful for what you have. The word gratitude probably won't surprise you. It comes from the time of the Romans. And basically it means thankfulness, goodwill, to want what you have. And this is one of the things that my coach, when he was alive, he told me. He said, happiness is something in the future. So people think that they've earned the right to be happy. It's almost like you have to go and get something to be happy. And he always said to me, and I didn't understand it at the time. I was younger. I was in my early 30s, and he said, joy is free. To be joyful is to want what you have, to be thankful with what you have. And I think sometimes we don't realize that in most cases, we already have what it is that we need. If we make the most of what we have, like the body that we have, the brain that we have, and we go inside. I have to tell you this story because it massively affected me. And this is something that I'm very, I don't do this podcast because it's hard even to put it into words. I do it because I love doing it, and I'm very grateful to every single one of you right now that is listening to this. In my mind, I'm picturing people all over the world listening to this, wherever you are in the world, whether you're on a train, you're in a car, you're walking, you're running, you're lying down. I want to thank you. I genuinely want to thank you for allowing me to do what I really want to do, which is to inspire you to look at things differently. People don't change when we tell them what to do. People change when their perspective changes. And I have a good friend, and I want to share her story with you. And I know she'll listen to this. This is a lady who is a practitioner of health and has had cancer in the past, and she beat it. And recently it came back again. And she knows what I've been through with my wife. When you've been given a diagnosis that basically is pretty awful, and it must be very, very scary. And we've been talking, and I've suggested a few things for her to do, and she's done them, which is amazing. And then we had a conversation the other day, and I was just blown away by her attitude. I was blown away by how she is dealing with this, married, 2 kids, and faced with this, what some people would never be thankful for. But this journey that she is on now to recover and be stronger than she's ever been before, and many of you know this, that when my wife was given 18 months to live, and I phoned my coach and I asked my coach what I should do, his advice, basically he said, find people that are still alive, find out why, and then he said, what is she going to do when she gets better? And I was going, but she's been given 18 months. And he went, so what? People defy the odds all the time. Now, our lives have changed so much since this happened 9 years ago, and I'm very, very thankful for everything that has come from that. In fact, I wasn't even that keen on Hannah. I wasn't married to her at the time. She didn't have anyone else to help her in the way that I could help her, and I'm very thankful for so many reasons. In fact, if you really want to know, the reason I'm drinking this coffee is because of what she went through. Because when we were in America, we found this treatment and we were there. We then met a very well-known nutritionist, one of the most incredible nutritionists in the world, Dr. Rakowski, who put my wife on a diet that really changed my wife's life. It was ketogenic, no sugar. I'm very thankful for that. And I'm very thankful for all the advice that he gave and all of the people that helped us get to America for my wife to have this treatment. And Dr. Bob, a year and a half later, he called me and basically said to me, hey, Pete, you know that coffee that I asked Hannah to drink, because he recommended Hannah to drink this coffee. Do you want to start, join my business and get the product out into the world? I didn't even know what I was doing. I said yes. I didn't even drink coffee. But when my coffee arrived, I started drinking it and haven't stopped drinking it. I'm very thankful. Many people in the world right now are drinking this coffee because I've introduced it to someone, and other people are drinking it. I'm very thankful for that. And I'm very thankful that this lady, when she called me and was telling me where she was thankful for telling me the story, because basically what she was telling me was that she had started a journey of going inside. Most of us are looking for the world to change outside of ourselves. We're looking, I'll be happy when, I'll be thankful when. And that's where it all goes wrong, because we don't have control over many of the things which happen externally. What she has done with this diagnosis is done a massive journey on the inside out. It's like she's gone on holiday deep inside herself, which is a place many of us don't want to. Many of us don't even want to look in the mirror. But when we really look at how we're moving through the world, and we recognize how we live in a cocoon of self-absorption, we are absorbed in our negativity. We're absorbed in I'm not good enough. This is the world we're living in. And I know maybe you don't want to hear this, but maybe I think some of you could hear it. The fact that we're looking in the wrong place for what we want. How many of you agree with that? If you took time today and counted your blessings, I wrote some stuff up on my thing here. I wrote all of the things that we're told. You don't know how lucky you are. Count your lucky stars. Count your blessings. We're told that when we're young, and then when we get older, we start to realize, oh, I probably am a bit more lucky than I thought I was. What I'm asking us to do is to work together over the next 4 weeks and to really start cultivating, because we do have to cultivate it. It's the easiest thing to do. Think of all the things you could do right now. I think one of the most easiest is to stop and think, what am I thankful for? I'm so thankful for you. You have no idea. I'm imagining seeing you wherever you are listening to this, and I'm very thankful for that. What are you thankful for? And we can write it down as a tick box exercise, but what we're going to be looking at over the next few weeks is how do you really get into gratitude? How do you really feel it? And what happens in your body physiologically, psychologically, mentally, emotionally, when you allow yourself to experience, to feel gratefulness? To be great is to be grateful. That might sound like a cliche, but let me just reiterate what I just said before. I'm a gratitude Salesperson. When people cultivate gratitude, which I'm going to show you how we can do that, they experience a multitude of physiological, psychological, interpersonal and spiritual benefits. It has one of the strongest links to mental health and satisfaction than any other personality traits, more than optimism, hope, compassion, joy, love. You could say, well, I don't believe you. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to believe me, but at least let me train you like a physical trainer, like I used to be in the gym. Let's do a press up. Come on. You'll stop when you've done a few when it hurts, where if you were like Muhammad Ali, when it hurts, that's when you start counting. You'll go that little bit further. You need help. You need coaching. Everybody does. I need people to push me. I need people. We all need people. We all need each other. And I'm very thankful for all those people. So I'm asking you to take some time out and think to yourself, what am I truly grateful for? Even stop this just for a moment. Look around. See, as a discipline, right? This is where it gets really interesting. As a discipline, it protects us from the destructive influences like envy, resentment, greed, bitterness, depression. You can't be grateful and negative at the same time. When people have cultivated it, and just like a bicep, any muscle that's stronger through work and discipline, people can cope better with stress, show increased resilience in the face of induced stress and trauma, recover more quickly from illness, and enjoy more robust physical health. Now, have I sold you? Have I sold you on that? Just drinking some more coffee. Have I sold you? Are you bought? Yeah, please, mate. Can I have some? Give me some gratitude, please. I'll have a couple of bags of it, please. As opposed to a couple of bags of something else that you, I don't know, smoke, drink, eat, that makes you feel good temporarily, but then the next day gives you a hangover. We're all looking to feel good. We all want to feel good. We've been designed, and this is what I want to look at now for the remainder of this podcast. Then we can go away, increase our awareness. That's the first step. If you want to change anything, become more aware. Become more aware of what's going on. Become more aware. I sound like I was Italian. Become more aware of a 24-hour day. How much of that time are you actually grateful for what you have? And how much time do you actually spend in worry, fear, doubt, happiness, greed, anxiety, depression, excitement, enthusiasm? Just become curious. Become curious. Curiosity is another virtue. Gratitude is a virtue that has to be practiced. If you don't practice it, you will go back to what you know, and you'll go back to what's familiar. So I want to look at with you guys right here, right now, why it's hard. Why is it hard? Yesterday, terrible news. You'll know when we recorded this now by when I'm going to say this. If you look back in the news, it was one of the presenters of a program called Love Island who basically took her life. You know, whenever I hear about suicide, I always think, wow, what must that person have been going through? What turmoil must someone be thinking? You know, with the 800,000 suicides that happen every year, what must someone be going through that would make them want to do that? And I'm still as curious about that as whenever I get a chance to meet someone who tried to take their life but weren't successful, I always look to ask the questions that often people don't want to ask, because I want to know what it's like to be a human being, and really and every human being is different, but it seems that we seem to come alive when we experience huge amounts of gratitude for the life that we have. And it's hard because we live in a world that is not focused on gratefulness. We live in a world that's focused on blame. It's not my fault, it's your fault. We live in a world where people are suing each other all over the world rather than people coming together and saying, hey, how can I help you? What do you need? We live in a world that is full of people's self-importance. Look at me, look at my six-pack, look at who I am. This cocoon of self-absorption. It's hard to practice and cultivate gratitude. If people felt more grateful, I promise you one thing, they'd go out and spend less money on things they don't need because they'd be happy with what they have. And we live in a world that couldn't handle that. The world would fall apart if everyone just woke up and started feeling grateful for what they had. Because the world is dependent on you and me going out and buying things that we don't need, like the new iPhone. I don't know about you, but how did your upbringing affect you in terms of being grateful? Maybe you had very grateful parents. Maybe you didn't have very much, or it taught you to be grateful. For me, I brought up in a world where my parents were unbelievable, incredible, but that didn't stop them from being able to affect how I felt about myself. I found it very hard to be grateful for what I had because I didn't think what I had was good enough. I didn't think I was good enough. I thought there was something wrong with me. And we're living in a world today that's basically giving you those messages culturally, globally. You're not good enough. You need to drink this. You need to do that. You need to think this. You need to be that. So can you not see that if you want to transcend yourself, fill yourself up with gratitude? It's such an easy thing to do. It's such an easy thing not to do. It is a gift. The biggest gift you can give yourself right now is to think of a gift that you're giving yourself, maybe listening to this. Easy to do, easy not to do. The research is unequivocal about gratitude, that it makes a huge difference. So we live in a world that's hard, right? So I want you to understand, why is it difficult? But ultimately it's a choice, but it's still difficult because we live in a world that's a blame culture. We live in a world where people are more interested in their self-importance. People don't want to say thank you to someone because they're often, it's crazy, right? I know people that don't want to say thank you to someone because it makes that person feel that maybe they are a servant to the person. I mean, human beings are a bit silly at times, right? Your upbringing, I don't know how your upbringing affected you, but if you've got any issues around self-confidence and self-esteem, you might find it difficult to be thankful for what you have because you don't think that what you have is good enough. Then there's also our genes. We've been programmed to survive. There's a part of us that genetically thinks we need to run away from things more than we need to go towards things, because once upon a time, we weren't the most dominant creature on this earth. There were other animals that we mucked about. We went the wrong way. We turned the wrong direction. They would eat us. So we have this predisposition to be on our toes. And of course, it's just a habit. Most people are just not in that habit. The poor me syndrome, or, I'm not good enough. We have to stop this. So I really appreciate being able to give you this message. And hopefully right now, you have a different perspective of gratitude, to be grateful, to be so full of this feeling. Take a moment to think about something in your life that you're truly grateful for. Like, I think of my mum. I picture my mum, I see my mum, and I think of everything that she means to me. Now that is one powerful feeling. And I can make that feeling even more powerful by becoming more aware of it. We can work on this together. And I want to take that feeling out of this podcast and go and give my wife a kiss and give her the kiss of feeling grateful first. Because if I know that if I kiss her already feeling grateful, how do you think she's going to feel? Because ultimately, it all comes down to energy. And the energy that we experience of what I call the grateful flow is so powerful that it makes a difference to people whether they realize it or not. Yesterday, I watched the film The Joker. Kind of regret watching it in a way, but I've been sucked into superheroes and growing up watching Batman, and it was a very depressing film because obviously it's not real, but it's very close to reality of how so many people are in this world of feeling isolated. And it's up to us to be the difference that the world needs. This is my battle cry to all of you, because I think we do need to see this as a battle against ourselves to rise up and be grateful for who we are, what we have, and where we're going. We're going to work at that. Next week, I'm going to blow you away when we start looking at the emotional signature of gratitude, what that actually means. I really appreciate you listening. What's your biggest takeaway from this? Take some time every day for the next few days. Do what Robert Emmons did in his study. Write down 5 things every day of what you're grateful for. Look at them and then go into them in your mind's eye. Use your imagination to feel gratitude in every cell of your body. Don't make it a tick box exercise. If you want to, then there's almost no point doing it because you think, well, that didn't work. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. Guys, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being a part of the Pete Cohen podcast, the inspirational revolution. I truly appreciate it. I'm so honored to be working with you. I know a lot of you, I work a lot closer with others because a lot of you are part of our coaching community, people who we work with every day going to work on this stuff. Remember, this episode was brought to you by the healthiest tea and coffee in the world. Go and check out inspirators.me/coffee. Inspirators.me/coffee. bit.me/coffee. We'll see you for episode 2 of the 4 episodes on gratitude. I really, really, really appreciate you. Take care. Much love. Thanks for listening. And if you want to go from living a life by chance to an extraordinary life by design, so you have the health, wealth, and abundance that you're looking for, then make sure you join our Facebook group, My365 Kickstart, for additional tools, tips, techniques, and inspiration to help you go from where you are to where you want to be. Take care, and thanks for listening.